Hello and welcome to MacGyver's Grant Public Library's Storytime Tuesday. My name is Vanessa Kane and I'm the Children's Director here at MacGyver's Grant, and today we're going to read the book Off to Plymouth Rock. This book was written by Dandi Daley Mackall. Dandi Daley Mackall is the author, so she wrote the words. Gene Barretta is the illustrator, so he drew the pictures. And this book was published by Tommy Nelson. Pilgrims flee, sail the sea, knowing there's no guarantee. Leaving, grieving, still believing, off to Plymouth Rock. Can you imagine getting on a boat that's going to be on the ocean for months and months and months and saying goodbye to your family and going to a whole different world, a whole different continent? Back then it was harder to get between the continents than it is now. Mayflower ship, dangerous trip, waves that rock and winds that whip, crashing, splashing, lightning flashing, on to Plymouth Rock. That looks like a very dangerous wave. I like how this book rhymes. I like the meter of it. Can you see the sharks and the fish? Oh my goodness, even the sharks and the fish are out of the water, and there's some lightning. It looks like there's a storm. Whew. That's a lot of motion on the boat, isn't there? Can you see our friends up here at the top just holding on to each other, trying to stay aboard? Land ahoy! Shouts of joy, cheers from every girl and boy. Steering, veering, there's a clearing, on to Plymouth Rock. There they are, coming on shore. I bet they're so happy to see land. Sawing beams, working teams, building up their pilgrim dreams. Look at there, they're making some houses to live in, aren't they? Blizzards pounding, snow abounding here at Plymouth Rock. They had a really hard winter, didn't they? Do you see all that snow and the snowflakes, and they're inside trying to stay warm? Massasoit, Indian king, sees the pilgrims suffering, shivering, praying, still they're staying here at Plymouth Rock. They're having trouble, aren't they? Does somebody see that they're having trouble? Is Massasoit going to be a good friend? Let's see if he's a good friend. Watchful Squanto understands, shares the secrets of the lands. What's in his hand? He's showing them the seeds and how to plant a garden so that they can have more food next winter. Is he a good friend? He was a very good friend, wasn't he? Digging, hoeing, corn is growing here at Plymouth Rock. Now, there's the pilgrims, and they're working hard, aren't they? They're working hard, and the Indians are helping them. And now corn is growing. Pilgrims call one and all, come and celebrate the fall. Pumpkins, cherries, turkey, berries here at Plymouth Rock. Look at all of that they have. A big harvest, don't they? A lot to eat this year. Let's find out what they do when they have a lot to eat this year. Glad to share, bow in prayer, harvest blessings everywhere. Who is sharing all of that wonderful feast? Pilgrims and the Indians together are good friends, and they're celebrating together, aren't they? Humble living, first Thanksgiving here at Plymouth Rock. Can you tell me where those two little friends are sitting? They're under the table, aren't they? I like that scene in this book because when we were little, when we'd have Thanksgiving at my grandmother's house, there'd be so many people in the tables that once everybody sat down, there was no room to move. And so when we were done eating, we were able to climb under the table and crawl out. But we could only go out once, so we had to make sure we were done eating. That's a good memory for me. And when I see this picture, I always think about my grandmother's house at Thanksgiving. And that is the end of this book, and I really like that book. I like how it rhymes. I like how it was short, but it told you the story. I think that she did a really good job with the words, don't you? And I think they did a wonderful job with the pictures, too. This book is a new book that we just got into the library called The Mayflower, The Perilous Voyage That Changed the World. Brand new book. We just got it this month. Isn't this a good time to get this book? I just wanted to give you a little preview of it because isn't it beautiful? We're just going to do a little picture walk through this book. And Caregivers, this is something that you can do if you find a book that you like that has great pictures in it, that you want to just introduce your child to a book that's a little bit older for them. You don't have to even read the words. You can just flip through and talk about the pictures. This kind of has a timeline. But let me show you some of these wonderful things. Let me find the good. A Tale of Two Ships. See how you can talk about it? You can give them a little bit of this information and get them talking to you about the pictures in the book. Anytime you build a conversation around books, you are encouraging your child to use vocabulary, and you're letting them know that their words are important too, so when they talk, you are listening. And you can get them to think, ooh, that book might not be so hard. I remember that book. Maybe I might want to read it later. Isn't that cool? I like this book, so I wanted you to know that we have this available to check out. Okay? We're going to read one more book today. This is one of my very favorite books, and Thanksgiving books especially. It's called The Perfect Thanksgiving. It's by Eileen Spinelli, and it's illustrated by Joana Adinolfi. And this book I love because it talks about different ways that you can celebrate Thanksgiving. And I think everybody does it a little bit different, don't they? So again, our author is Eileen Spinelli. She wrote the words. Joana Adinolfi drew the pictures. And I want you to look at the difference in the pictures. And this book was published by Henry Holt and Company in New York. And can you see what that person's doing with her crayon in her hand? Have you ever made a handprint turkey before? Do you think there's such a thing as a perfect Thanksgiving? Let's see. Abigail Archer's family is perfect in every way. Never is this more obvious than on Thanksgiving Day. I feel like you have to say Abigail Archer, like you are very proper. And I'm sitting up straighter. Abigail. Their turkey is plump and golden, their napkins are made of lace, their table is lit with candles, and they all hold hands for grace. That looks like a pretty good Thanksgiving. Very proper. Our smoke alarm is wailing, our turkey burnt his toast, Dad spills the gravy down his shirt, a less than perfect host. That looks like a little bit different Thanksgiving. They look a little more relaxed, don't they? Does that mean it's not perfect? No. Abigail Archer's father serves white meat all around. Everyone takes dainty bites, and no one makes a sound. They are all using their manners. It says, excellent, perfection, yummy, lovely, superb. My grandpa chews the gizzards. My brother chomps the wings. My sister slurps. My uncle burps. And Aunt Clarissa sings. You ever had anybody sing at the table? You can sing at the table and have a perfect Thanksgiving. Abigail Archer's mother wears organdy and pearls. She decorates their homemade pies with fancy whipped cream swirls. My mother's dressed in blue jeans. Her pies are from the store. Her jello mold quivers to the floor. Oh no, she dropped her jello. After dinner at Abigail's, the dishes are all done. Some of the grown-ups take a walk, and others play chess for fun. After dinner at our house, the dogs sneak off with scraps. Some of the grown-ups watch TV and others take long naps. That sounds like a perfect Thanksgiving to me, too. Abigail's older cousins read books in velvet chairs. The younger ones bring favorite toys, and everybody shares. Does everybody share at your house? I think that's what everybody would like to happen. Sometimes not everybody shares. My cousins chase around the house. They grab each other's collars. They hop atop the furniture, and everybody hollers. A little more lively. The overnight guests at Abigail's have rooms all to themselves, with chocolates on the pillow and shampoo on the shelves. Our guests bring their own sleeping bags and canvas camping cots. Some guests sleep in the kitchen beside the cooking pots. Abigail Archer's family will sleep straight through the night. They'll have the pleasantest of dreams by starry window light. My family fumbles in the dark, eats leftovers galore, take bubble baths at 2 a.m., and many of them snore. That's not a quiet night, is it? It's a fun night. My family and the Archers are different, this I know. We can't tell peas from green legumes or snails from escargot. But we're alike in one way, the nicest way by far, alike in just how loving our different families are. I like that book because it reminds us that everybody celebrates Thanksgiving different. And sometimes you want it to be a kind of proper, and maybe you want to set things up to be proper, but you do need to remember that just because we're all together, it's going to be a perfect Thanksgiving. And I always say when we read this book at the circle time, at story time, that we need to remind our parents sometimes. Sometimes our mamas get a little bit uptight about Thanksgiving. I know I do. When I'm doing Thanksgiving, I want everything to be perfect. And sometimes we just need to remember, maybe we need to be a little extra good and a little extra helpful that day so that Mommy doesn't feel so stressed, so that she can enjoy Thanksgiving like the second family did in this book. They all just piled in and had a good time together, didn't they? I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and we are very thankful for you that you came and shared these books with us today on our story time. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.